Uniformation GK3 Pro in the greedy 3D house. If you want to hear all about it, stay tuned. Some would say that the GK3 Pro is the incestuous result of a GK2 getting frisky with a GK3 Ultra, the resulting offspring arriving green and sticky as a hybrid child would, that due to the crossing of family genes is not quite right. I say sticky as when mine arrived it was covered in some resin or other from some free factory testing of the auto feed system, a problem Uniformation have been made aware of, and this should be sorted out so this doesn't happen in production models of the GK3 Pro. Now, as a note here, I will say that I have a test version of the machine, so not completely identical to the consumer version, hence this isn't going to be a full review but more of a hands-on overview and first look, if you will. Aside from the sticky lid and vat cover, the packaging of cardboard and foam assured the machine arrived in good condition with no cracks on the lid that the GK3 Ultra has been a victim of. Looking at the GK3 Pro, it's definitely a Uniformation creation. It's green up and over lid, leaving no doubt at all of its origin. Although similar to the GK family, it does have its own identity. Notably, the silver midsection has been changed to a more cream-coloured casing, and at the front, well, something has definitely happened to the tilting front screen, and for the life of me, I cannot find the on-off button at the front, like all their other machines, but where is it? The rear of the machine brings us back to more familiar ground, the transformer being built into the Pro, which means a power lead is simply plugged in with no sign of a brick. But what's this I see? The power switch is now at the back. It's been removed from the front. Why have you done that? Over to the right is a screw-in, this time Wi-Fi dongle, not the USB one that you see on the Ultra and the 2. Further up the back again, the usual port for the air purifier that easily slots in via a magnetic connection can be found. It's the front where things look a little different. Initially looking at the Pro, I was left wondering just where the main screen was until I turned it on. And then I realised there was another 5-inch screen, very similar to the 2 and the 3 Ultra. It's the lift-in front section that had me a little bit baffled at first, and I couldn't really understand the reason behind it. But the more I use the printer, the more I see why they've done it, because looking down at your printer is a lot easier to see the screen if it's tilted up towards you. The only downer for me with this is it's going to get covered in resin from sticky fingerprints on the screen, just like the rest of my office, to be fair. The blue circular spirit level also returns, thankfully, as do 4 adjustable feet, ensuring easy levelling of the machine. Desk real estate for this machine requires 520 x 392 x 332 millimeters, and just allow a little extra height to open the lid to 90 degrees. Now, this thing weighs in at half the weight of the GK3 Ultra, coming in at a not so backbreaking 15 kilograms. Lifting the green up and over lid is like looking into a shrunken GK3 Ultra. It's pretty identical-ish. The familiar build plate is the same design as the GK2 and the GK3 Ultra, and exactly the same size as the GK2s, measuring in at 228 x 128 millimeters. It's got the familiar resin groove capturing edge and smooth build surface that we've all come to know in the GK machines. The compression lever to remove it, again, this seems a direct port from the GK2, and why not, as it works well. The GK3 Ultra VAT release system is seen again here, with 2 sliding release handles holding the 800ml capacity VAT in place. This is easy to use and no breakable GK2 VAT feet in sight, which is good. But what's that? Yeah, just there on the left, right by the bracket to hang the build plate in good old GK3 Ultra resin dripping, unable to close the lid style. There's something new. It's a camera, but more on that later. The printing volume is something of a surprise in the GK3 Pro. You would assume, I would guess, that if this is a GK3 Pro, it would print bigger than the GK2, but not as big as the GK Ultra, right? Right? You'd assume that, yeah? Well, you'd be wrong, as the build volume is actually smaller than the GK2. I'll pause here for effect. The build volume of the GK3 Pro comes in at 211 x 118 x 240mm, and comparing that to the GK2, whose build volume is 228 x 128 x 245mm, it's smaller in every single dimension. Okay, the LCD screen, which incidentally is 16K with a resolution of 15120 x 6230, is only 9.6 inches compared to the GK2's 10.3 inches. So it's got a larger footprint than the GK2, same size build plate, holds more resin, and yet prints smaller volumes. Baffling. Very similar to the GK3 Ultra, we see the addition of the resin auto feed system, something I was reminded of when unpacking it, if you recall, seeing as it had leaked inside my machine during transit and ruined my lid. Not that I am bitter, as I'm sure you can tell. The slot on the top of the printer allows the uniquely shaped Uniformation bottle to be inserted, and this can be easily filled with the little blue spout that you get with the printer to insert the resin of your choice. Plugging this into the top and pushing it down firmly locks it in position, and the resin feed system then is able to not only monitor the amount of resin in the bottle, but also feed said resin into the vat mid-print if levels fall below the little metallic sensor located on the back of the vat. Or at least that's the plan. Considering mine had been tested pre-delivery and ruined my lid, my auto feeder started but would not stop. I wish I had the balls to see just how far it would have gone had I left it, but I bottled just before it reached the top, and I turned it off in the UI. Giving Uniformation some benefit here, I wonder if it's something to do with the firmware needing maybe an update or a glitch in the matrix maybe, but more or less for me at the moment, the auto feed system is unusable. Thankfully, and it's good to see, especially here in the UK at this time of year, the GK3 Pro, like its brethren, features an automatic heating function for the vat that can be set to 25 to 30 degrees centigrade, and this can be controlled in the UI, and the temperature can be seen when you start a print and during a print. Like both the GK2 and Ultra, the GK3 Pro does not have a self-leveling function. Although it's supposed to come from the factory pre-leveled, you are advised to check the leveling when you set it up to ensure that nothing's changed during its route to you. The leveling function is the same process as you will be familiar with if you've owned the GK2 before, but if you're new to the brand or need a refresh, then the full instructions are included on the USB stick that comes with the machine, and it's in an easy to follow video format. It's a shame that the machine does not offer auto leveling, but to be honest, my GK2 only needed re-leveling once in a blue moon. My GK3 Pro did come slightly out of kilter, so I performed the full leveling process on it. I just think I'm a little disappointed after being used to using the Haygears Ultracraft Reflex machines where leveling is a thing of the past. I would have liked to have seen that on a new Uniformation machine. The user interface on the GK3 Pro seems identical to the UI found on both the GK2 and the Ultra. Again, this is not a bad thing and leads to familiarity with the Uniformation brand. You can connect the machine to your Wi-Fi, although you're not prompted to do this at the initial setup, which is disappointing, and have to go hunting in the UI to find this, but it's not too hard to do. When using programs like Chitterbox to slice your files, you can connect directly to this and connect it to the machine via the Wi-Fi connection, where you can easily then send files, tell it to print, and then actually view the live print with the camera. Ah, the camera. I love the idea of there being a camera, and Uniformation need commending for the addition of it, without doubt. In the same breath, they need a kick up the arse for using what seems to be like a camera from a 1990s Nokia phone. The quality is truly, truly abysmal. Now I'm led to believe that the consumer versions may have a higher resolution camera, maybe HD, which I hope to God is correct, but I just can't confirm that at this time. Uniformation are coming bang up to date too by releasing its own app where you can not only monitor your print, but you can also look at time lapses of your prints and monitor on the fly what's going on your printer. Because I'm using an early version of the machine, I could only get things to print using Chitterbox, but rest assured it will work with Lightchi and its very own GK slicer when you buy yours. Now, the settings I had to use were also a little bit unconventional. I want to thank Ross from Faux Hammer and the Uniformation team just for ironing this out, as without these I had a few problems printing. But set it up exactly the same way as normal, hollowed it out, added some holes, sent it across wirelessly, which is always good, across to the printer. And I may have been a little unkind with the camera's resolution, but I have a 480p camera. You, in yours, will be getting a 720p camera, so you'll be getting a little bit more of a higher resolution. And this as well, I want to just point out, has been filmed in the dark. It's pitch black in there, just the LED light of the unit, so I can't really complain that you can see something in the dark. And after some twiddling of settings, we have a fantastic successful print on the GK3 Pro. This is the Creature from the Black Lagoon by Wicked, and a couple of things I always say that make a good print is how things come off the build plate. Well, do I need to say any more? Settings, wonderful. Print, wonderful. Heating up with a hairdryer to get the supports off, and again, another test of a successful print. This is medium supports in Tutubox. I probably would have got away with light support, to be honest, but I guess it's just habit. I've had medium supports, and they've come off really, really well. Now, again, you're going to need to do a little bit of cleanup on any of your resin models, and you'll see some little tiny divots from the support settings, but, you know, I could have soaked it in a bit of hot water, and that would have probably helped, but I just got it, a hairdryer on it to get them off. I guess I was a little bit keen, but look at that. That is a beautiful, beautiful print. The detail in his scaly skin, it's wonderful. All those little spiky bits on him as well, wonderful. Really chuffed with the quality of the GK3 Pro. Once you get the settings right, and obviously I've put my settings a little bit earlier on if you need to follow them, but wonderful print. Now, like I said at the start of this isn't a review, merely an overview and a hands-on experience, and I'm aware that without handling the final finished version of the GK3 Pro, I can't in good conscience review it. But saying that, I can give you my impressions. The size and shape and appearance of the machine are what I would have expected with the brand, given also its in similarity to the GK3 Ultra. It is, in fact, one of the three family after all. The removal of the power button from the front, well, that's a bit annoying. Now, that may seem like a small gripe, but I didn't really want to be reaching around the back of the machine to turn it on or off, and I can't really see why they did that when the GK3 2 and the Ultra both have buttons at the front. I like the lifting screen. I wasn't sure about that at first, but the more I use it, the more I like it. Now, come back to me in 12 months and see how caked in resin mine is to see if I still think it's a good idea. The VAT is easy to clip in and out with the slidey latches, and I like the added capacity over the GK2. Extra 100mm always helps, and especially given the auto feed that will keep you topped up, although mine wouldn't turn off. But the reduction of the print volume, well, I'm not sure how often you'll need to refill it anyway, but it's good to have when it works. This reduction in printing volume, yeah, this really grates again, perhaps more than it should. I guess I just feel a little robbed, and I'm sure I'm not alone. Having said that, the 16K resolution and a 9.6 inch screen is always welcome. Also welcome is the COB light source and Fresnel lens, which helps to sharpen that light, which incidentally is a 385nm light in the Pro instead of the 405nm light, which you'll find in the GK3. Now, if you recall, Haygears did this in their machines, and the new 385nm can be found in the RS, and that meant some of its original proprietary resins that you found in the original Ultracraft Reflex were not compatible with it, like translucent, for example. Although I got translucent resins of a third party to work in it with no problem, and I've no real info or report as to whether this will cause any issues in the GK3 Pro. So let's wait and see on that one. But I do urge you to check out other reviews, especially Faux Hammer's review, as I know he's been sent both to play with, and he will get much more techie with the numbers than me. And if that's what you're looking for, well, he'll dig a lot deeper into it. While I'm talking about other reviews, make sure also to check out Groundeffected, Rising Ape, Battle Brother Sam's, all of whom I know have got the GK3 Pros and have been playing with them. They've had their hands on them, and their opinions and their approach may be different to mine, and it's always good to get as much info as you can from good, trusted reviewers to make that concerted decision. So I can hear you all asking, what's the difference between the Pro and the basic GK3? Well, let's look at the price to start with. The GK3 Pro is coming in at $799.99 with the GK3 basic at $669.99. But in the early bird sale, you drop $100 from that. Now, I know it starts on the 25th, but I'm not sure when it ends. I'll put that in the description when I can find out. Just looking at the differences, let's look at what's the same. All of these features are the same build plate, resin tray, same design. It's both got cameras, same UI, same build volumes, both have auto resin feeds, same cob lens, same everything really. The only differences that you will get is there's a 385 nanometers in the GK3 Pro with a 405 nanometer screen in the GK3. High transparency screen in the Pro with a normal screen in the GK3. Now it comes with CPFA film in the Pro with NFEP, basic NFEP in the 3, and the difference is obviously a ball screw and a T screw in the normal GK3. Now what I will say is, if you're going to buy one, I've got some special codes that'll save you a couple of quid, £30 off the Pro, £10 off the basic GK3. So if you buy through the link in my description, put those codes in, and it's not a huge saving, but every penny helps, doesn't it? I have to say, the thing that concerns me most at the moment is I'm a little unsure as to the timings of the GK3 Pro and the Uniformation strategy. Let me elaborate. October 2021, Uniformation released the GK2. I don't think I'm overstating, but this machine revolutionised the 3D printing industry. The first mainstream resin printer to have a heater, quick release VAT, build plate, reasonable build volume, concise UI, the list goes on and on. Most 3D print enthusiasts, me included, either had one or wanted one, and the GK2 has stayed top of its game despite other companies releasing printer after printer since. The fanboys really love this machine. I include myself in that. Come July 2024, the GK3 Ultra is announced, a huge 3D printer, just like the GK2 but bigger, with twice print volume of the GK2. It's been dogged with shipping delays, and as I write this in November 2024, customers are still waiting for delivery from July orders. For those that have had the GK3 Ultras delivered, social media is awash of reports of broken fans, damaged lids, uneven build plates, malfunctioning screens, auto resin feed problems. The list just goes on. In the midst of this apparent dip in customer satisfaction, failed delivery promises, and what seems like a drop in quality control, the GK3 and the GK3 Pro are announced. Understandably, customers are unhappy as they believe Uniformation should be concentrating on fulfilling current orders of the Ultra, repairing the defected ones and ensuring quality control, not releasing two other printers. As a bit of a plus, with release of the Pro, they've also announced that the GK2 has been reduced in price to just $509.99, which is a great price for a fantastic printer. I'm also happy to say, despite the rumours that Uniformation have said that they will be supporting the GK2 for at least the next 2 to 3 years, which, considering how many of us own this machine and love this machine and will be owning this machine moving forward, is a fantastic decision. So I hope you found that useful. I hope you found that interesting. I'd be really interested to hear your comments. I want to hear what you think about the GK3 and the GK3 Pro. I want to hear what your thoughts are on the GK3 Ultra, about Uniformation, about the whole thing that we've talked about today. Your opinion really is important, and everybody will read your opinion. So pop it down below in the description what you think. If you like what you see today, I would really love you to subscribe to the channel. It's quick, it's easy to do. Think about joining the Greedy 3D Patreon. You can join it for as little as nothing to a couple of quid a month just to support the channel. And if you want to buy the GK3 Pro or the Ultra or anything else from Uniformation or any other brand, as it happens, there's be some links down below. They're affiliate links, and a little bit will kick back to the channel, and I will thank you for that, and it helps me carry on doing what I'm doing now, but it doesn't cost you guys a penny more. Hope you've enjoyed that. Hope you found it useful. Let me know what you think. See you next time.